for the Chiefs, they have to find a way to help Chris Jones. There's no way about it. They have to get leaner. They have to get faster. They have to get more explosive. And they're going to have to get younger. We're going to help them today on RGR. Welcome back, everybody. I am doing another mock draft here specifically to develop the defense. I hope that you will join me and have a good time. Hit your comments. I'm pre-recording this. It will be live at the time, so have your conversation over there and let me know what you guys think. I'll go back and review it here after the fact, but debate as we go through each of these picks. We'll see how many rounds of this we get to. I'm going to set it up right now as we jump into this mock draft. And again, I am focusing on defense. We're going to have some other tools. In fact, we may have to draft some offensive players higher than maybe we expect. We're going to entertain some trade possibilities. I'm not going to push the trades so much, but I think we're going to see what comes to us as we enter this draft. Obviously, we are settled in at number 9 and 40, 74 and 109. Those are our prime picks. We have a couple others, but likely, I don't think we're going to end up using all of those. We will see what the trade opportunities become. As right now, I don't anticipate the Chiefs pre-draft moving. There's a lot of rumor out there. I addressed it this week on Locked On Chiefs about if you're going to sign Jalen Watson, you're likely trading Trent McDuffie. There will be suitors out there. The question is Trent really pushing for a $30 million per year contract, which is what we understand is in the rumor mill right now? If that is true, this has become more of a likelihood than it was a week ago. So we're going to get started knowing that this could be an option. And we're going to watch how it all comes down with our guy, Ruben Bain, everybody's favorite possible Chief, going off at 3 this time. David Bailey coming in. If the Chiefs were to switch to a 3-4 front, they could look at moving him. And going to the Titans means that you had an opportunity. If you really wanted to trade up, you could have. I don't think that the Chiefs do, and that's perfectly fine. Rounded out by Love, Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, and Sonny Styles. And what I think is really interesting is 2 of the Ohio State linebackers going early in this draft. I do think that is a possibility, but I'm not sure that they go this high, to be honest. So, as I was saying, this brings us to where are we on the value chart? And top on PFF Sports are offensive players at this point, with Tyson, Lemon, and Maui being the top of them. A couple of cornerbacks are here. And if Trent McDuffie were to get traded, they could possibly look at going corner here, especially if they're stuck. If they're stuck, unable to trade out, I think that could be an option. Now, McCoy's a bit of a risk. Dan's probably top-rated corner in this class, yet missed all of last year. There is some risk there, and the Chiefs are generally not terribly risk-averse. If their health evaluations check out, then he's good. If their docs say he's good to go, then they're going to run with it. They've done that later. But they are more apt to wait on a discounted prospect. I'm not sure McCoy goes this high myself. We're going to have to see how it plays out. Now, not looking for a guard. I do think he is best at guard. He can play right tackle. It's just going to have to be an assistant that really plays to his strengths, and I don't think the Chiefs is it. So now we come down, and we're starting to look at players that are possible fits in Woods, Howell, Falk, Banks, none of which do I think earned this number 9 pick. I personally don't have anyone up there currently, and I think most of the folks that I respect don't either. The question becomes Spencer Fano. He is probably the best tackle in this class. I don't agree with Maui being ranked above him here for PFF. And if he's available, the Chiefs could very, very well look at him. I don't think that's a stretch in any way, shape, or form. You guys have talked about the tight ends, about some of these guys lower down. TJ Parker is an edge possibility here. I don't think that the whole league is going to see him as a top 10 prospect. I have him higher than Falk because I don't have Falk in the first round. So he would definitely be my choice here if we were going to go that way. But we have 11 trade offers on the table, and we're going to take a look at them because this is what becomes the impetus, because if you know that you have a couple of players on your board that you like, but you don't have to take them at 9, you can trade down and recoup some value. That's important. So I do think this is a situation the Chiefs could be in. They could go, in my estimation, Fano or Lemon in the first if you are willing to go offense. I don't think that they can. I think they have to stick to the defensive side with their top picks. And with the Cowboys offering a trade, I'm very, very intrigued by that. We're going to see what they're willing to do. They don't have many, so I want both of their firsts. If we're going to trade, that's what I'm looking for. And they won't take 74. So we're talking about trading 12 and 20 that are currently in the Cowboys' possession for 9 and 40. I think that's a screaming deal. I think both of those offer, if you are not happy with your selections, or if you have too many selections at the top, those both offer additional picks that you could trade down for. Now, I would like to also add a later round pick. I don't think they'll give up their third, but what if I give them one back? We'll see. Because I am trying to pick up picks that are in that top 100. That is always my plan. We'll see if that happens, and it does. So that puts us on the clock at 12. And what did happen? It was Lemon that went there that they wanted. It was Maui Noah, followed by Tyson. So we are once again in a very similar situation. Now, our trade offers have dwindled quite drastically, and we're down to just 6. But again, we have changed and gotten ourselves 5 picks here in the top 112. That is nothing to sneeze at. So we're going to take another look right here at 21. That's a long way to go from 12. And if that's our best offer, I'm not seeing a whole lot of potential unless I get a second round in addition, which is very interesting to me given the way that our picks are currently spaced. And I would probably want something else as well. I'll give you a pick back. And this is very, very tempting. So we know that we could pull that off. Now we have to look. We have both the corners are still alive. The DIs are both there in Woods and Banks. We talked about Falk. Cassius Howell would be a risk. Also in the short arm division here, I don't think he's a Spags guy. And in this exercise, we are drafting specifically for Steve Spagnuolo's defense. So we are back to the same pick with Fano on the board. Now, let's look into the future a little bit. If we trade down to 21, I expect him to be gone. I expect several of these players in this range to be gone, including Denzel Boston's going to be right on the edge. So if you were looking for that wide receiver value, which I think Boston is, in the late half, we're going to get there. And if we do this trade, it's basically giving us an additional pick and putting us at back-to-back picks, which we can then move on from again. So I'm not saying that we won't do this. I just want to make sure that we're prepared. If we get down to 20, Boston could be there. That would be an interesting pickup. You could go Caden McDonald if you want to try to plug the middle and let Omar Norlatt become your additional 3-tech pass rusher, which I think is his natural ability. I think that's what it should be. I don't need him playing the 1. I don't think that worked out, and I think it cost him a season already. So that's where I'm sitting. I like TJ Parker in this defense. I think Steve Spagnuolo likes him in this defense as well. You could come down. I think this is a little rich for Lomu, but definitely a guy that's available out there. And then you're getting into stretching for one of the beasts from Miami in Akeem Mesidor. And I do like him in this defense. If you're going to go with pass rushers in this draft class, I think the Chiefs have an opportunity here to maybe get a pair of them, which I really, really like. So at this point, I'm willing to roll the dice on the tackles. And I think we should take that trade with Pittsburgh and get as much as we absolutely can from them in moving back and getting our picks in the first 2 days of the draft. Now, obviously, we have a couple that are lingering out here that are going to be troublesome. But if we can play this game a little bit, maybe we're giving ourselves some room to maneuver. Is there anything else that we could do? Could we move up 10 spots? We could probably pull that off. And this is a lot of pick swapping. It's not unheard of in the league, but it is rare. We'll see if it can happen. And it does. So we're going to drop down and we're going to see Falk does go. Banks goes. Delane goes. Cassius. Fano does go at 17. There's Woods and there's Denzel Boston, the pick before us. Now we are on the clock at back-to-back picks, and it allows us a little bit of extravagance here. Do we want to go defensive interior? Do we want to take a great fit for this defense, in my opinion, in TJ Parker? That's the way I'm leaning. So I'm going to grab him up. We aren't getting any other trade back offers. I would like to move down another 5 picks and really try to get something done, which I may try to force here in a minute, because I could take McDonald and feel okay about it. Sadiq, I think people would be very happy about. And if you're looking to possibly find the next Travis Kelce, or at least the heir apparent to Travis Kelce, Sadiq could be that guy. But if I can pick up another pick in moving back a bit, I would choose to do that. And I know that I can probably get a deal done with the Bears because we're pals, and things can get done in a way that would allow them to be pretty happy with it. Now, I'll give them back 109, and that won't get it done, but I will give them something else. That is quite a deal if I were to get those 2 picks. That's giving up but moving up. That's difficult. So we'll do that, and we'll spread it out a little bit more. See what we can do. Okay. So Sadiq does go. McDonald does go. Now Monroe's here. Now we have more trade offers yet again. But look what we've done. 25, 53, 57, 74, 99. Right now, we're looking at 6 top 100 picks. And this is the kind of draft that changes franchises. That's what I'm here for. I like having TJ Parker on board. I have a plan that I want to execute right now if I can get it done. Ooh. Well, if the Broncos want to do something, then they're going to have to pay through the nose, because I just don't like them. So we're not going to get that done, and I'm not dropping down into the second round from 25. That would be ludicrous, and they don't have enough to give me anyway. So we are going to make this pick, and I'm going to go out on a limb, and I am going to double dip right now, and I'm putting Messidor on this roster along with TJ Parker. This allows both George Karlaftis and Ashton Gillotte to move inside and rush from the inside when we want them to. It allows us a lot of versatility on that defensive front in a very, very young way. I'm pumped about this. You could see it becoming a Chris Jones and George, Gillotte, Messidor, and Parker. I love the concept of double dipping up here in the first round on edge rushers. Now we come back down, and we do have some trade back offers. We have picks that are just a couple picks apart here. And I do like the way that this fell. I would say there's a couple of very, very interesting issues here that we could be looking at. And just for you guys that are not tracking the draft classes closely yet, because we're still here prior to Super Bowl Sunday, this is the name to watch. He's been denied, Trinidad Chambliss, his opportunity to go back to college. So he will be in this class. And as the process goes, I expect him to climb. I expect him to push to be the second quarterback taken. I think there are teams that are going to put him above Chambliss on sheer upside alone. We're going to have to see how it rides out, but I expect that to happen. There's a number of other players in here that could help us out, but I like where we're at here in the mid-50s. And again, with this theme being, let's take what we can take to make this defense better. We go back to the top of the show when I was talking about what they might have to do with Trent McDuffie. And this is another scenario. If we move back 5 places, again, it would put us with back-to-back picks. The only concern for me is the player that I have right here is a guy that I want to take. And that's going to be pretty key. So I don't want to risk that. I'm going to stay with what we have going right now. If they choose to re-sign Jalen Watson, they have Fulton in there, but he may have played well the last couple of games. I have question marks about why it took so long. So you got to be careful there. and you still want to have another player. I think Pons is somebody that could fit into this scheme, inside out versatility, in my opinion, as well as being able to shore up a third here and get very young in the process. So I'm going to grab him while we have the ability. So Pons comes to Kansas City, and we drop down a couple more places to our pick at number 57. Now, I'm not dropping him all the way back to 83. I'll tell you that right now. I might move back from 74 to 83 and pick up another pick or two, but I don't want that many picks, so that's okay. So we're going to stick and pick here as well. And I think most of you are going to be on board for going one of two ways, and that is either Jadarian Price, the quote unquote other running back from Notre Dame, or Max Ian Anchor. I believe that's how it's pronounced. He is the fastest riser out of the Senior Bowl. And given that the Senior Bowl was just a week ago, I think maybe we should focus on him. But I will say this, we don't have a trade offer to get back and still keep him in our sights. Could we go back to the Rams and drop down 4 spots? Possibly. They don't seem to want to do that, though. They certainly don't want to give us another high-end pick. So, man, could we go back with the Patriots? It's a possibility. And I'll give you a pick or two to help the medicine go down. Maybe, Brandon Bean still has his job. He's a trade machine. He'll help us out. 60 for 57, and we'll give him 109, get 91 back. We just got to sweeten the pot just a touch. That will easily do it. Okay, so we're picking up and improving our picks. They did not take any of the guys that we were looking at, and we're still in the same situation. That's crazy. And I am leaning towards the tackle. Now, if you have a look, the kid has just been a rocket. Didn't play high school ball. Just an absolute tear in his development. Put in almost 1,800 snaps the last 2 years and has shown quite a bit of improvement. He aligns as a right tackle. If we are looking to either shore up concern about Jalen Moore or we're worried about cap cost and the price for Jalen Moore, this is the way to go. I think it's worth the choice, and it's worth gambling on getting a running back a little bit later down, given that we still have 5 more picks, and that's all before 129. So I think this is worth it. I'm going to take a little bit of a reach here and grab us the hottest tackle in the draft right now, and we're going to drop down to 74 and see what we have. Now, again, we are looking to help this defense out. We have done that with the top 3 picks, and we have come in with probably the biggest question mark on the offensive side at the backup tackle, possibly fighting for a tackle position. Now we can look at weapons. We can look at coverage. We can look at anything that we want at this point. And I'm seeing a little bit of interest here, but not a ton. I see trade offers. I do like CJ Daniels. I don't know that he's somebody that really turns the page for this particular offense. You can see 1,000 started hot, 1,000 yards as a freshman or sophomore, or whatever that was. But I don't know. It has me a little bit worried. Not a deep threat. Screen yards, slot yards would slot in pretty well. What does that do to the usage for Xavier Worthy? Does that push him out? I don't know. I think a lot of people have been adding at me that they do want this. And I think as a prospect overall, he's probably above Trig. So I think relative value there is probably there. And I'm going to explore what the trade backs are. This is, again, Carolina trying to get up. They just don't have much to offer. And I would consider trading back a little bit. You know, maybe Colts always need help, right? But they only have this in 113. That's not much of a deal. So what about the Bucks? Bucks are even lower on their second pick. The Falcons, they need help all over the damn place. Yep. So they're not doing it either. Do we go back to the well with our friends in Chicago? Doesn't look like they're interested. And I can't say that I blame them. I'm trying to push up a hard bargain here. Not interested in trading with Miami. They're an absolute hot mess and wouldn't do what I want to do. Well, they might do what I want to do anyway. So let's pull that trigger and we'll move up our bottom pick. And they didn't. Let's see if they take our guy. They did not. They were looking for that quarterback, which they definitely need. So at this point, we've shorn up our picks. We have a run at the end of the third round into the top of the fourth. I feel really good about that. This is going to be our last pick for a while. And now the Ravens want to come up again, 115. It's farther back than I want to go. So I think what we do is we give another weapon to try and fill out Patrick's offense. Whether it's Daniels, whether it's Trigg, that's the question here. I'm going to err on the side of the wide receiver for now and see what they end up doing in free agency at tight end. Now we're dropping down 15 picks to 91. And now we're coming into the range that I really like because we have 2 picks in 8 here where we go down to 99 and then we come back like one of the first 10 picks in the second. I'm sorry, on day 3 as well. So you look at what's available here. We have addressed quite a bit. What if the Chiefs lose Leo Chenal? That's the next question for me. I like what Jake Rodriguez does. I know at the Senior Bowl weigh-in, I think he came in right at his projected, right at 6 foot. They listed him at 6'1". So I think he's a little bit undersized, but as a will type guy to replace Drew Tranquil, which I do think will need to happen, and possibly take over for Leo Chenal in the 2 linebacker sets with Nick Fulton. I do like what he brings. I am tempted to take him here. I don't know that the quarterback does much. I do think Carson Beck is in the running to be the 3rd or 4th quarterback taken in this draft. I feel like as much as he's kind of laissez-faire about his career, I do think he offers more than Simpson at this point. I'm not a huge fan of his, and I am looking to see how we can get some punch on the offensive side at this point, knowing that we have 3 picks left, and I think there's an ability to do that. So let's grab Rodriguez, put him on this roster, and see what happened after that. Will Lee did go, and I think we're in good shape. If we wanted to go quarterback, we could. Again, I don't think any rookie quarterback is going to be able to play for Patrick Mahomes to begin the season, but you do want to continue to bring in talent and try to raise it up. So that would be on the radar for Andy Reid, I think, possibly. Now we're looking at what else can we do here at 99, and we have 1 pick remaining at 111. And I think it's pretty clear here from what's available that we need to do a little bit for the offensive side as well. Now, Sam Roush, I don't think it's really much of an upgrade. I am tempted to go to the pass rushing D-Tech from Texas Tech, another Red Raider. But the guy that stands out to me is Nicholas Singleton. To put him on this roster, I think is a little bit of a punch. And obviously with the picks that we've made and being able to move around the board, I feel really good about making that kind of selection here. Now, the last pick, we have a lot of trade back opportunities. Grayson Holton is a guy that gets a lot done on the defensive line as well. Raridan, I think Dan likes him pretty decent, but I don't think he's a game changer. Same thing with a couple of these other guys. I'm not seeing a lot that's really making me say, hey, we got to go get him or find a way. I'm a fan of Harold Perkins. I don't know exactly how he's going to have to be played, but I think a lot of people have question marks about him. So let's see what our trade offers are. Move back 5 with the Bucks and pick up a 153. I don't think that'll get us Harold Perkins. Move back to 123. Yeah, that doesn't do us any good. I wouldn't help the Chargers anyway. Same thing with the Texans. I don't think I want to do that. So the question becomes, who's the best person to help us right now? I don't want to go tackle. World could be an option here, But given that we took Max earlier, I don't think that we have to. So I feel pretty good. And we have filled in tackle, wide receiver, and we've got a running back to add to the mix. I think we've done pretty well on helping the offense as well. I like Kaytron Allen. I like him. I'm trying not to take him in every draft because of my personal thoughts here. So coming back to who can help this team in any way, shape, or form. It might be Bud Clark. Try to get more safety help. I think they're going to make a run at bringing back Cook. And I think Brian is helping. 7 forced incompletions. Clark is a guy that Dan likes, that I'm comfortable with. Not the greatest run cover guy, but the forced incompletions is a big deal. The low passer rating is a big deal. Could it be lower? Yeah, it certainly could. But he's running at about 60% completion percentage, and even on big plays he gave up and plays he made. So I'm feeling pretty decent about that. I think we'll go and we'll again support the defense by adding another player that can get in the mix and help them resurge while they have to support the team while Patrick's out. That's the key to this whole thing is I think at least a few weeks, maybe up to half a season, Patrick Mahomes is going to be gone. And it's going to come down to a replacement backup at quarterback, running the ball and playing defense. So everything we do to shore up the defense helps. Giving some new weapons, some new guys on the offensive side certainly is a long-term plan. But for this next season, it's going to have to be shoring up that defense right away. Now, we had a lot of trade backs in this one. I'm just going to review here. End up with TJ Parker, a guy that I do think Spags is going to like quite a bit. I wanted to double down, so I got Messidor as well. Might have been a little bit of a reach. As they say, they didn't call it an A here. We come back later in the second to get D'Angelo Ponds and really give another feisty defender in that secondary. I like that pick a lot. Come back with Max Ianekor. I don't know. I'm going to pronounce it every which way I can until I figure out exactly the way it's supposed to be. Come back with CJ Daniels, Jacob Rodriguez, and Nick Singleton in the third. That is a nice run. A little bit heavier on the offensive side, yes. But I think that is a pretty good plugging of positional gaps. And then we end up with Bud Clark that can get in the mix, fight. I do expect Chris Rowland-Wallace to have more of an ongoing safety role. So maybe that's part of the equation that would not make the Chiefs go safety there or in the first 100-ish picks. That could certainly be the case. But this is the way that I see it coming out. And I'm pretty happy with the outcome here today, you guys. A lot of trade backs. Feeling like Howie Roseman. Some of these things are a little bit back to back to back, but this is all within the realm of possibility. And bringing our draft class up into the top 100 is exactly what I am all about over and over and over and over. So cheers to you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't be bashful. Make sure if you want in the Discord and you want all the extra content as we come across things, as we refute stories and let you know when things are just absolutely smoke screens this draft season, make sure you get in the memberships, get the rookie level or above, and you'll get all that content. If you really want to help the channel out and you want to be more involved, you can get in at the higher levels, including the pro, and really sink into this offseason. It's going to be a blast. Written content from both Dan and I will be over at NFL33.com. Make sure you subscribe over there. Dan's on Bleacher Report. You can get some of his ratings there, and we'll have the draft guide and the athletic matrix, the whole 9 yards as we get going. Thanks for hanging out with me this time. Thanks for being cool. Enjoy the Super Bowl. If you missed my prediction, it's on Locked On Chiefs. And I'm just going to say this. Go Seahawks. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.